Mums here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1866. I get to cross that one off. Family reunions. So I've been emailing backwards and forwards with a few cousins. Some discovered, some distant cousins. Some we haven't even found the connection for yet. There's one that I was writing to a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he sent me a message via Ancestry, and now we're going backwards and forwards on email, which is so much quicker, so much faster. And he mentioned, and we've got this, my maiden name and his last name are the same. So somewhere along the way in there, we have to be connected somewhere. We're just not sure where or how. Now, I also know that on my own family tree, in the depth back, probably around fourth great-grandfather back, I know there's some errors in there. And I said to myself, I know there's some errors back in my tree, and the errors that I have made, owning up to my errors. So maybe when I clear up that area, we might find the connection. But he mentioned he's going to a family reunion. I thought, what a great topic for tonight, family reunions. Most people, I don't know, sometimes at family reunions, they have organized events, they have just get-togethers, have dinners together, have meals together, catch up with each other and all of that. So I thought, what are some things that we could do if we were to organize a family reunion? If you were to organize a family reunion for your family, what sort of activities could you possibly do? Or even if you don't organize the family reunion, what can you do while at a family reunion? So got 10 ideas, and we're going to go through them pretty quickly. Number one is host a storytelling circle. Gather relatives and encourage them to share family stories, memories, and anecdotes. And remember to record the conversations. So make sure that if you don't have I don't have it in here with me, a digital recorder, you do have a recording capability on your phones. Most phones have it. Or you can get like a digital recorder that has a lot of storage on it, more than what your phones do, and put it there. And you can get like microphones that will attach to them that will be multi-directional. So you can sit it there in the middle of the circle and it will capture everybody's voices. Or you have somebody, but see if you can also videotape it as well. But so gather relatives and encourage them to share family stories, memories, anecdotes, record the conversations for future reference. And sometimes you'll hear forgotten details and surprising insights. Like somebody could tell a story and you go, I didn't know that. Tell me more about it. So you'll be able to end up in kind of interviewing the people without really interviewing. They've made your comment. You want to find out more information about it. Bring old photos and documents. Set up a table with old family photos, letters, or documents. Ask family members to help identify people, places, and events in those photographs. And it can trigger a lot of memories and discussion about ancestors. I remember when my parents had their 30th wedding anniversary, one thing I did is, it looks like, I can't remember, how did I get those? I ended up with a photograph of every house that they lived in since they got married, which happened to be the same houses that I had lived in growing up. And I blew them all up and put them onto, the 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, and had them all up there. Some were in color, some were in black and white, based on where I found them. So I got them blown up, and those prompted a lot of stories and memories and things. I also had up there a whole bunch of I'd found where my mother had hidden the wedding albums. She's going to have a new place for it now, because when I was in Girl Guides, my dad made me a Girl Guide box. And the Girl Guide box is what you would use when you would go camping with Girl Guides. And you'd have in there your clothes and all your bits and pieces that you needed. And he'd made this one up. And we had missionary friends staying with us at the time. And she was a very good artist. And she actually turned my box into a whole Disney theme. I mean, she had the heads of Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Goofy. I think Minnie Mouse might have been on. Pluto was on there. Well, she had a whole thing of Pluto. You open up the lid and Pluto was on the inside of the lid. But she had all these Disney themes on each of the 4 outside of the boxes and on the top. And then when you open it up, there was Pluto inside. And my parents kept that box for years. And unfortunately, the artist passed away. She was very young when she passed from, it was a brain tumor, cancerous brain tumor, I think it was. But what my parents did, and they kept their wedding photos in there. So that's where I had found them. So what I'd done is I'd taken them into work where I was working at the time and got them to color copy them. And then we had a whole display of their wedding photos. The number of people that went up and were commenting on them, because some of the people who were there had been at my parents' wedding 30 years beforehand. And to hear those stories, unfortunately, I wasn't thinking far enough ahead to record it. But this was, almost 30 years ago I did this. But with the guide box, they no longer have it, because what they did is they found out that they ended up taking down to Christchurch, where the daughters of the artist lived, and I believe one of her granddaughters or something is with Girl Guides, and so they gave it to the husband to give to his granddaughter, that she could then have something that her grandmother had made, even though she never got to meet her grandmother. So I thought that was really cool. So I don't know where they have their photos now. And I know they're going to be away for a trip for their 30th anniversary, their 60th anniversary next year. So I can't go and sneak in and get the photos and do all that all over again. Well, that was a lot of fun. So by having blow the photographs up so people can see people's faces, instead of trying to look at those little black and whites, try and get them blown up to a bigger size so people are able to easily recognize faces and things. Have bits of paper underneath with pens there so people can write people's names in and dates and things like that. Yes, you may get multiple dates. Yes, you may get more names than what the people that are in there, but it's a fun exercise to do to see, what have we got? And with any documents, make sure that they are inside archival safe sleeves, and the same with the letters and the photographs, so that people can see them but can't touch them. Another one you can do is conduct mini interviews. Prepare a list of questions about family histories and ask relatives individually or in small groups. Questions like, what is your earliest memory? Do you remember stories about your grandparents? How did you and your husband meet? Just simple little questions that they can very quickly and easily answer. And yes, there is a point to all of this. I will tell you as I'm going, we'll tell you about it. You can create a family tree activity. Bring along a large blank family tree and encourage everyone to add their information to the tree. And then, this will help. And if people aren't there, some of them aren't there because they didn't attend or they have passed, you can get other people to help fill in their information as well. You'll be interested to see how full that tree will be by the end of the family reunion. You could set up a DNA testing station. If family members want to are open to it, bring DNA testing kits and help them uncover new connections, confirm relationships. Now, if you are the record keeper for the family, like the genealogist for the family, you can actually, through Ancestry, they will allow you to manage other people's DNA results. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but Ancestry can explain it for you. If you go to Ancestry.com, they will be able to explain in the DNA thing. AncestryDNA.com, they have all the instructions on how you can be the manager. And so you can actually collect all of those, send them all in, and you could be the one that receives the results. You could show a family slideshow or video, put together a slideshow or video of old family photos and home videos. As relatives watch, they may offer new information that comes up. They may be correcting things. They could be sparking conversations. Again, make sure the voice recorder is recording this. When they do that, they'll be like, oh, do you remember when we went there? And all the stories will start flowing. Like it could be like at a beach, and you tell them what beach it's at and when it was. And they're like, oh, I remember that. This happened and that happened. And off they go. Yes, it'll probably sound like that. You could create a memory jar. Set up a jar where family members can write down memories, stories, or facts they remember about their ancestors or family events. Collect the notes and use them as a starting point for your research. And there is another use for those. Once we've done these 10, I'm going to tell you what you can do with all of these. You could even, and so that's number 7. Number 8 is organize a genealogy Q&A session. Host a casual Q&A session where older relatives answer questions about family history. Encourage everyone to participate and be ready with prompts to get them talking. So have a list of questions ready to go, and maybe have the younger relatives ask the older relatives questions as well. Record it. Share a family recipe. Cook or bake a traditional family dish and ask relatives to share their stories or memories connected to that recipe. There are some recipes, like if you've got like great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents who had a dish, or usually the grandmothers, had a dish that they would always prepare for family meals, family occasions, and all of that. If you can find the recipe for that, if you can find out what it is and find that recipe, make that dish and see what memories it triggers as people try that. Food often brings family tradition, brings up family traditions, and can lead to discussions about where and when certain dishes originated. So they could turn around and go, I remember this recipe. This has been handed down through the generations. How did you get hold of it? That may even spark those sorts of questions as well. Number 10 is create a family history survey. Pass out a short questionnaire with questions about family history, favorite memories, or information on distant relatives. You can collect these surveys and use the responses as a foundation for further research. Then what you can do with all of this information, with the photographs you have taken at the family reunion, with the voice recordings, with the videos that you have taken, is you can now, and all of the memories and everything else that's been handwritten down and all of that sort of thing, is you can now take this information and you can compile the 2024 Smith Family Reunion book and give it and make a copy of it for everybody for Christmas. You could put QR codes in there that lead them to the digital recordings of the voices of the conversations, and you've got the transcript written in the book. You can use the QR codes for them to scan to go to watch the videos that were taken that day. Again, the transcripts are all written there. So you transcribe all the recordings and everything. You then compile everything into a book. You put the photographs in there. You have QR codes that take them to to different audio recordings. So you have a QR code for each recording or video recording. You can even have a recipe section. Maybe you've got more than one family recipe that you could then put into the book. So you could scatter it, and you could just scatter things throughout the things. Memories, you have a memory section. These were some of the memories that were shared. And it makes a phenomenal gift because you send one to every family that was there, not every individual person, but one to every family that was there. And that is something that becomes a keepsake for them. And it's such a simple way to help them remember. And, if you had other activities, of course, there'll be videos for those, there'll be photographs for those, just a book about the entire weekend, the memories that were shared, the photographs that were shared, the stories that were told, the Q&A sections. They can all be in this book that now becomes a gift for each family that was there. And it is a keepsake for them that they can often go back to. And if you do that at every family reunion, you're going to find that more people will probably start coming. And 2, more stories will be shared because people are going, oh, this is such a great idea. Oh, and even going back through that book on the family reunion, it may trigger other memories that they, and tell, put a few blank pages in the back of the book so that if it triggers other memories or stuff, they can write them down or send a notebook with it. This notebook is designed that if anything in this book triggers more memories, please write down the information in this notebook so that we can use it for next year's edition. And you'll find that families that enjoy family reunions, enjoy coming together, they're actually participating in a very different way. And you can even talk about how world events affected the family during that time as well. So you can tie in the world events. And did you have anybody that fought in the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the jeepers, I can't even think of it. I should know. I almost got called back up for it. The Gulf War. Yes, all of that, people remember those times. Where were you when 9/11 happened? We've got 9/11 coming up in a couple of days, the anniversary for that. Where were you when that happened? What's your memories of that day? Think of other world events that's happened. The Queen of England passing. Were you around when she was coronated? I talked to my mum and dad about this and said, what do you remember about her coronation? My mum says, well, not really a lot because I was only 10 at the time and they didn't have TV, so they were listening to it on the radio. And she doesn't really have a lot of recollection. She kind of remembers when her father passed away and she became the queen, kind of remembers that announcement coming out. But, she was only 9 when he passed and 10 when the queen was coronated. So had her coronation and things. So asking, but then and this came up because of King Charles's coronation. So I then asked my mum, this happened 70 years ago. I know you were a young girl. What do you remember from that time? So she was able to share what little she could remember of that time. For her, it was 70 years ago. So that was kind of, you know, some stories that we've got from that as well. Asking couples how they met, how they, you know, how were they courted? That was the term of the day. How were you courted? In other words, how did, you know, what did they do for dates when they went out on a date, or courting? When they went courting, what did they do? How did the proposal go? Was it a conversation? Was it an all formal event? Was it a surprise? Was it planned? You know, how were they proposed to? So ask questions like this, because it'll bring up great memories and a little bit of romance and all that sort of stuff as well. And so there's lots of different things. You know, what do you remember when this particular person passed away? And what are some of the stories that you remember from their life? You know, how much interaction did you have with this person? You know, just ask questions. Turn it into an interactive thing where everybody gets to, so you're not just picking out certain people to talk to. Have the storytelling circle. Have the, you know, get people to bring photographs with them, and tell them, get them blown up onto paper so we can all see them, and keep the originals at home so they don't get destroyed or anything by people passing them around, unless you're bringing them in archival safe sleeves. You know, give them some parameters on that sort of stuff as well. You know, bring along your favorite photographs and let's pin them up. And if you get them copied, then it means that they don't have to worry about bringing the original and the original getting damaged or lost. They can just put up a copy of the photograph on the wall, on the memorial wall or something like that. And you have blank pieces of paper so people can write information on there for what they remember about those events and that sort of stuff as well. So those are just, there's 10 ideas of what you can do at family reunions, and how you can get more people involved in the family reunion, and what you can do to capture what goes on at the family reunion and to make it into a memory book that everybody else will have. And there's lots of different places you can do these memory books and things. The service I use is Forever, and you can upload documents, you can upload photographs, and all of that sort of thing as well. Get a private YouTube channel so that you can put up the videos and the vocal recordings. And the only way people can access those videos is to scan those QR codes that you have in the book. So that makes it nice and private. That there's a setting in YouTube where you can have, if you're sharing videos, that only the person with this link can see the video. So they've got to be able to scan that QR code. You know, make it an interactive book. So those are just some ideas on family reunions and what you can do. If you have different ideas for family reunions, jot them in the comments below. I would love to hear more ideas about what you do at family reunions, how you can capture that information, how you can capture information about ancestors, you know, and even have, some family reunions do this and some don't, but do a memorial for those that have passed since the last family reunion. You know, at this family reunion, so-and-so attended and now they're no longer with us, and share memories about that person. That keeps their energy alive with the family as well. And those that were close to that person will appreciate the fact that they have an outlet to be able to share memories of that person as well, and know that other people in the family care too. And I know there'll be some animosity in the families, and some people won't attend because so-and-so's attending. That's fine. You're only concerned about those that were there. And if you wanted to, you could even make a book for those that were, hey, sorry you missed the event. Here's a book about the event. You know, here's a book on the event. And then they can go through and see it that way. Maybe that will prompt them to attend the next family reunion. So that's it from us for this evening. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here.